Yeah, I want to welcome you once again to this session. This is our second lesson. Last week we started, and I think we were only with Joseph, and we looked something. For the sake of you, young man, I want to do a recap of what we did. Then today I will engage you in the shared notes. What I would do, you write programs, then send them back to me, and we start. Now, I'm not aware whether some of you are using your mobile phone or you are using your laptop. Maybe you can just type in the public chat the mode that you are listening me with, because this being a programming unit, it is very technical, because you need to do the coding, you need to access the softwares, you need to install them in your machines that you are able to do. If you are using a mobile phone, just write a mobile phone in the chat. If you are using a laptop, just write laptop in the chat so that we know what we shall do. Yes, I can see. Yeah, both of you are having laptop. Good. That's so encouraging. You need to install the Visual Studio software. Maybe you can see how you can access it. If you don't have it, you can try to access it in school. And again, you can be able to start. Good, I can see now at least we are 4 participants. Yes, Martin, if you can hear me, just type yes. Martin, if you can hear me, just type yes. I don't want to leave someone behind. This being programming, it's very technical, because if you miss a point, then it becomes difficult. Good. Martin, can you hear me? Type yes in the public chat. Type yes in the public chat. Kindly type yes in the public chat. Good. We are good to go. Yeah, I introduced last week on VB.NET. Now, in your courses or unit, the unit title is Programming with Desktop Publishing. Programming with Desktop Publishing. But the programming language that we cover in that section, we call it VB.NET. VB.NET. Those of you who are having some background with Visual Basic programming, then this becomes very easy, because with that knowledge, you only need to adjust a few. Now, with this language, it's a general purpose language. You are able now to develop desktop applications, and it becomes very easy for you to use, because we have 2 applications. Right now, we are going to start with console application. We are going to start the console application writing program. Console application is whereby you just write your codes using text. Then again, we are going to do some graphical user interface application, whereby you get forms, you get interfaces, and you are able now to design forms and generate codes. Now, I'll just do a recap. Now, we said it is a simple, modern, object-oriented computer programming language, and it is developed by Microsoft. That is why the software that I'm telling you to install is Microsoft Visual Studio. Now, this being a simple, modern, and object-oriented programming, the keyword you need to note there is object-oriented programming. You need to note object-oriented programming. Now, object-oriented programming is a programming methodology or paradigm that makes use of objects to develop an information system. You make use of objects to develop an information system. And what is an object? An object, we say, is a real thing, an entity. For example, a student can be an object, a car can be an object, an employee can be an object. Now, this object enables you now to generate a code, because object has attributes. For example, the attributes that can define a student. A student is defined by the admission number or registration number. A student is defined by name. A student is defined by age, the course that he is taking, the mobile number of a student. All those attributes define a student. Now, there are also methods. A method now enables operation to happen. For example, a student can register, a student can defer a unit, a student can enroll, a student can drop a certain unit. Now, if you hear object-oriented programming, know they are objects, and this object, they are joined together to make up a system. And an object has attributes, and again, object has methods. Attributes, they define. Methods, they enable you now to develop a code. Good. Now, here where I'm highlighting, these are the reasons. These are the reasons why VB.NET is widely used professional language. Number one, it's modern and general purpose. Two, object-oriented. Component-oriented. You have so many components. You can include buttons, you can include menus, you can include lists, etc. It is easy to run. Structured language developed step by step. It produces efficient programs, and it can be compiled on a variety of computer platforms. That makes it portable, and it is a part of .NET framework. .NET framework. Good. Now, having known programming with desktop application, what you are studying VB.NET or Visual Basic.NET. Before we had Visual Basic programming, but now there is a .NET that makes it more flexible. Now, this programming language has strong features that makes it stand out. Number one, Boolean condition, true or false. It has a lot of garbage corrections. When you hear garbage correction, can correct a lot of components. Then there is standard library, there is properties and events, use it to use generics. I'll show you what all those are. I'm doing a recap of some of the basic things. Now, this language can be used to develop Windows applications, web application on web servers. You can find the components of the .NET framework. Now, we said, now, to install this, you need maybe Visual Studio software, Visual Studio 2010, that is VS, Visual Studio 2010 Express, or Visual Basic Web Developer. You can get Visual Studio 2010. Now, you find the last two, they are open source. They are open source, meaning you can download them for free. Good. Now, you need to have an idea of a VB.NET program structure. How does it look like? Now, at least you know what is VB.NET, what are some of its features, which software can you use now to install this program. You need to know program structure. For example, I know you guys, you have done C, you have done C++, maybe you are doing web-based programming now. For example, in C, you want to do a small code that can display your name. In C, we start with, maybe I can write it in this section. Yeah, the share note. I hope all of you can see. If you can see, just write yes in the chat as I wait to load. In case you have a question, if you want to write a code using C, I want to read it. #include and studio standard input output header .h. Then we have the int main. We have to space here, int main. Then you have parentheses. You have an opening curly brace. Then here you say printf, and you put quotation because it's a string. Say hello world. You put a semicolon, and you goes like that. Now, when that program is compiled, we'll display the message hello world. Now, let's go back to VB.NET. Now, the program structure. Now, what we are being told, before we study basic building block or VB.NET programming language, we need to look at the bare minimum VB.NET program structure so that we can take it as a reference in upcoming chapter. Remember now, whatever you are running is building your foundation in this language. You should be able, having understand this, to be able to develop a program. When you're given a program, you should be able to develop a program. Now, if you look here, we want to write a program, but VB.NET basically consists of the following parts. Look here. We have, if I take you back to this program, this is the preprocessor directive. This is the preprocessor directive. This is the main. Remember, those are comments. This is the main, and main. Then this is opening. This is a statement that will print the word hello. Good. Each and every programming language has its own syntax. The concept is the same, but the syntax are different. So if you use this syntax on a different language, it will give you an error. So let's go back to VB.NET. I want you to understand very well. Good. A VB.NET has the following part. Number one, namespace declaration. It has a class or a module. There are one or more procedures. You need to find variables, the main procedure, statements and expression, and comments. Let's look at the example here below so that we shall be able to understand all this. Now, to write a VB.NET program, it starts with the word import system. Import system. Then you have your class called module 1. You start with the word module 1. Remember, we said it's object, and again it is structured. This is a comment. A comment in VB.NET starts with a quotation. If you find here, there is a single quotation. This one denotes a comment. Remember, comments are not executable. They are just for documenting. Then we have the sub main. This is where execution of a program begins. Whatever is inside the sub main, it's where the execution begins. Then in C we were using the printf. In C++ use cout, but in VB.NET use console.writeLine hello world. So this word console.writeLine, remember we are writing our program using console application. If you get the basics of console application, when we go to the graphical user interface, it becomes very easy for you. Control.writeLine. So this line is being commanded by the console to be written on the screen. Then we have console.readKey. I'll explain. This one enables your result not to disappear. Whenever you compile your program remains in the desktop until the time you press the escape key. But if you don't put console.readKey, it becomes impossible to display the result. Then you add the sub, you add the main. This is the main, you add it here. Then you add the module that you have started. Good. Now, when the code is compiled and executed, you find this result, hello world. You find this result here, hello world. Good. Let's look now at each part. Now, the first line of the program, import system, this one here, the first line of this program, this one, import system, is used to include system namespace in the program. Used to include the system namespace in the program. And that is why we said VB.NET has the following parts. This import system, it is used to include the namespace, includes the namespace in the system, in the program, include the namespace in the program. Then we have the next line has module declaration. This one, module declaration. We have the word module declaration. The module 1, this one, .vb.net is completely object-oriented. It's completely object-oriented, this word here. Remember what we said about object-oriented. It's completely object-oriented. So every program must contain a module of a class. Completely object-oriented. So every program must contain a module of a class. This is a module of a class that makes this object-oriented. Of a class that contains the data and procedure that your program uses. Now, classes or modules, these ones, classes or modules, generally would contain more than one procedure. Procedure contains executable code, or in other words, they define the behavior of the class. A procedure could be the following. Anything that is inside a class is what will be executed. Import system includes the namespace in a program. Module 1. This makes this language object-oriented, and the word module 1 is a class. And inside that class, that is where you have methods or data or procedures that will be executed. And we are being told inside the class or inside the module, you can find functions, you can find operators, you can find add headers, raise events, all those many procedures as you can find them there. Now, the next line that starts, this program is ignored by the compiler and it has been put to add additional comments in the program. This one here, whatever I'm doing, this one here is a comment. So here is a comment. It's not executed. It only documents your program for easy understanding. Good. Now, the next line defines the main. We have sub main, the main. Main, what it does. It is the entry point for all VB.NET program. The main procedure states what the module or class will do when executed. Inside the main, that is where execution starts. Now, the main procedure specifies its behavior with the statement. Its behavior with the system statement. Then we have console.writeLine. Console.writeLine hello world. The word writeLine, from the word write, andika, mstari, writeLine is a method of console class defined in the system namespace. Defined in the system namespace. This statement causes the message hello world to be displayed on the screen. The word writeLine causes the word hello world to be displayed in the screen. Then the last line, console.readKey with a parenthesis. It is for the VB.NET users. This will prevent the screen from running and closing quickly when the program is launched from Visual Studio.NET. So if you don't end with the console.readKey and to compile your program, it will not be able to display the result. It will not be able to display the result. Now, we said this is simple. Your program will always start with import system. Include the namespace in the system. Then we have the module, that's our class. We have a comment. We have the sub main, that's where our main procedure begins. Statement console.writeLine, print the word. Read key enables you now to your screen not to disappear. Add sub, you add the main, and add module, you add the module. When the above code is compiled, you find hello world. That's about the structure of a VB.NET. Now, this is what you do if you want to start your program. Start Visual Studio. Just click on the start, then Visual Studio, you choose Visual Studio.NET. Then on the menu bar, you choose File. Then you say New Project. Then you choose Visual Basic from the template. Remember, there are so many from the Visual Studio. That's where we have C, we have C++. So many languages are there. So you choose Visual Basic from template. Then you choose console application. Console application. Specify the name and the location for your project using the browse button and choose the OK button. The new project appears in the Solution Explorer. You write the code. Then what you do, you click on the run button or the F5 key to run the project. Now, here a command prompt will appear that contains the line hello world. So we shall be coding. That is a procedure you need to run. Again, they're telling us you can use the text editor to add the above mentioned code. Then you write hello world.vb. Then, but basically don't use the text editor like the Notepad or text editor. Don't use Notepad. It's good you use the Visual Studio. Visual Studio. Good. Now, any questions so far? How are you faring? Someone is saying the display is not clear. Can you see the display? Maybe you can write yes or no. The screen that I'm sharing, can you see? Joseph can see. I think we know you need to check on your Sydney. Can you see the screen that I'm sharing? Because you should be able to see. Again, don't worry. All these notes and all this, the video, by the way, whatever I'm saying is being recorded. And if you got it onto the big blue button, good. So we know you need to check on your system. It's your system that has a problem. It's your system that has a problem. Have you seen the comments of the others? They can see. But don't worry. This whole video will be recorded for you. This whole video will be recorded for you. Do you have a question? Maybe you can, or it's okay now. Good. Maybe you can say if you have understood the structure of VB.NET, just say yes or no. Say yes or no if you have understood. If you have a question, you can post it there. I'll get back to you immediately. I think we had done this with Joseph. I was just doing it again for a reminder. I want us to cover as many as we can today. Remember, the semester has begun and you are being assessed. By the way, I'm reminding you, if you have not done the assignment, you better do the assignment because you'll be graded by what you are doing. Make sure you attempt the quizzes and the whatever I'll post in the forum. Today I'll mark your quiz and we are going to share it here in a while after we are through with our lesson. So take this study seriously. It is for your own good. It is for your own good. Good. Now, do you have any question? Yes or no? Sydney, do you have any question? Joseph, do you have any question? I'm waiting for you to respond. Can I continue? Yes, I can. Yes, I can continue. Let me continue. Good. Now, we have looked at the basic structure. We want to look at the, maybe I've told you VB.NET is object-oriented language. Now, in object-oriented programming methodology, a program consists of various objects, what I was explaining earlier, that interact with each other by means of action. The action that an object may take are called methods. What I told you, remember I said an object has attributes and has methods. Methods are the actions. Objects of the same kind are said to have the same type, or more often are said to be of the same class. When we consider a VB.NET program, it can be defined as a collection of objects that communicate via invoking each other's method. A VB.NET, it can be defined as a collection of objects that communicate via invoking other methods. Now, let's look now briefly into what do class, object, and method and instant variables mean. Now, Objects, what I was saying, have states and behavior. Example, a dog has states. Maybe those are the attributes, the color, the name, breed, as well as behaviors. The behaviors of a dog are wagging, barking, and eating, etc. An object is an instance of a class. Now, what is a class? A class can be defined as a template. Remember, we defined class, module 1. That is where our object will lie in. Without a class, you cannot have object. That is a blueprint that describes the behavior, states that objects of its type support. Now, method. A method is basically a behavior. A class can contain many methods. It is methods where the logics are written. These are the codes. Code methods enable you to derive the codes. Data is manipulated and all actions are executed. Instant variables. Each object has its unique set of instant variables. An object state is created by the value assigned to these object instant variables. We have an identifier. Now, what identifies you? Your name. An identifier is a name used to identify a class, a variable, function, or any other user-defined item. Now, the basic rules for naming classes in VB.NET are as follows. The basic rule for naming classes in VB.NET are as follows. Now, VB.NET must begin with a letter that could be followed by a sequence of letters, digits from 0 to 9, or underscore. The first character is an identifier, cannot be a digit. Rule number 2, it must not contain any embedded space or symbols like question mark, the subtraction, the plus, the exclamation. All those cannot contain symbols. And it should not be a reserved word. Remember, when we say int A is the identifier of data type A. Int A is the identifier of data type A. So it is used to describe the name. This is the name of a variable. For example, you say string car. String car. Car is the identifier. Good. Now let's look at keywords. Keywords, they are words that have meanings in programming language, and when you use them to generate an error. For example, each of you maybe can give me a keyword. Can you type a keyword in your chat section? Type for me example of a keyword that you know. These are reserved words that cannot be used, just to be used in programming. Type, because I know many of you have muted your screen because I ask questions a lot. Keywords that you know, keywords, they are reserved words. Remember, we are saying keywords cannot be identifiers. Keyword cannot be identifiers. Kindly type a keyword there. Good, we have counts, we have, who is this? Owino, can you type a keyword that you know, or reserved words in programming? There are so many. These words, they have meaning. You should not use them to declare your identifiers, to declare your variables. Martin, can you write for me a keyword? Yes, if is one, else is another one. Another one. Good. We have so many. We have the word like class, we have decimal, we have double, we have each, we have else, we have and, we have dimension, we have continue, we have car, we have bool, we have boolean, do, for, go to, event, get, import, ret, module. Now, for example, when you are starting with our program, the general structure, we started import. That's a keyword. Module is a keyword. Right line is a keyword. Add sub and sub, all those are keywords. They are reserved words. Good to know them. We have next, we have new. You need to know them. There are so many. I'll share these notes in your portal. Then you should be able to use them. Good. At least now you have understood. You need to know, before even you know how to declare variables, you need to know what are data types. What are data types? Remember, for you to write a program, you need to understand what are data types. What are data types? Now, data type, remember, I'll give you some task that you'll do, and this task we'll mark it, then we shall continue. We shall have maybe around 1 hour of video, what we are doing now. Remember, our lesson is taking 3 hours. Then again, we shall have some 30 minutes for attempting a quiz. I'll post a new quiz in topic 2. Then again, we shall have more 30 minutes for discussion forum, or maybe 30-40 minutes. Then again, we come back to the video and I'll be able to share your scores, whatever you have scored. Again, I'll take your attendance. So be very careful. Yeah, you did good for you to start, because now you see, if you deferred this semester, if you come back hoping that this pandemic will end, in September, you clear in September, December, but when you may defer, at clear next year. So keep it up. You'll still achieve what you have achieved. And again, I believe so that normalcy will return and we shall go back to class and study face to face. Now, how are you finding this digital learning? Maybe before we look at data type, how do you find virtual learning? Are you enjoying it? I'm asking, are you enjoying? Virtual learning? Are you enjoying virtual learning? Actually, I need to hear you talk. Can you unmute your screen and talk to me? We are trying to unmute your screen. Unmute your microphone. Unmute your microphone. What is wrong? Can you talk to me? Nisikue kama naongea peke yangu. Can you unmute your microphone and say something? Before we look at data types, then we look at variables. Yes, Joseph, are you enjoying the sessions?
Yeah, but somehow it's kind of expensive.
That kind of expensive?
Eh.
Because of the data?
Hizo bundles zenye walikuwa nasema wanatupea bado sijaifika.
By the way, they will come. You know what Safaricom is doing? They have to whitelist every student's number. What is whitelisting? They whitelist that they restrict your data, that you cannot do anything with that data. You can only use it for academic purposes. And again, you cannot use it in any other URL. The URL that you can use it is for only ZTech. You enter the ZTech digital platform, you enter the ZTech website portal, but you cannot do it for any other. So you can imagine how many students are there, and their contact have to be whitelisted. And you see how hectic it is?
Yes.
Yeah, but again, don't worry. By the way, this may ZTech has introduced a degree in computer science. So you find you guys doing computer science, you're on the safer side. After this diploma, you only need 2 years to complete and have your degree in computer science.
Okay.
Yeah, the advantage of studying in a university, there are so many benefits. And actually, this being a growing university, you start good chance to perfect yourself. Again, there will be so many opportunities coming your way. Right now, I would have expected, there was a link that was shared for Huawei free courses. How many attempted to enroll? Joseph, did you enroll for Huawei courses?
But sijatumiwa link.
But these courses have been being advised in the students group. Are you in the student groups?
Yeah.
Yeah, me, I'm taking advantage. I'm doing so many certifications. These certifications, where we have an internship. Have you seen the internship they have for
Yeah.
students?
Yeah.
Have you seen them?
Yeah.
You need to be motivated. Tomorrow I have a Huawei exam, by the way. I have a Huawei exam. I've been studying for the last 2 weeks. I've enrolled for 2 more units. It's good because these certifications, they make you different. When you move out, you can do something. Right now, we are in era of big data. Have a certification in big data, cloud computing, security, whatever, routing and switching, all those things. As young people, they need to motivate you. You need to focus. For example, this time of lockdown, instead of just staying at home, I'll send the link. Use it to register. Every Friday you'll be doing an exam. Get a certificate. This certificate will add value to your diploma. Are we in order?
Yeah.
But don't just sit at home like that. Don't relax. Good. Let's continue with data types. Of course, everything has a challenge. You see, it's not only our university. All universities have been affected. Is it okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, KCA University, all of them have been affected. Now, you need now to know what else can we do. What if this thing goes up to December? Will you stop studying and wait until next year? No. No, when a challenge comes, you look for a way out. For example, this fiber, I use fiber. Fiber is a bit, because with 1,000, you have 25 GB and you can use them for a month. See how you can get a fiber line, which is, actually, if you have a Nokia Neon, there is one for cheaper money, 7,000. They give you a free line. And you see now you can create a hotspot and you're able to use in your laptop. So options are there. You don't have to use Safaricom data, which is expensive. You don't have to wait for the university. You as an individual, you can see how can I acquire affordable internet. Are we together?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Let's continue with data types. Now, and I've never met you people. Maybe you, do you know me?
Yeah, me, I know you.
Have I ever taught you, no?
Yeah.
Which unit?
Structured system analysis and PCSM.
Oh, yes. Now I remember now. Oh, you are the ones who are in 2.1 last semester. Now you are in 2.2.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Now, let's look at data types. Data types. Now, VB provides a wide range of data type. The following table shows available data types. We have Boolean. Boolean, if you look at the value range, this is for the true and false. True and false. We have byte. Byte, to declare your data as a byte, starts have a 0 to 255. That's a number. Character, it's a letter like C. Character is a letter. Then we have date. Date takes date and time. Then we have decimals. We have double. We have integer. We have long. We have object data type. We have short. We have single. We have string. String is a combination of characters. We have integer. We have long. There are so many. There is an example that displays data types. You see, we start our class here, module called data type. Then we have our main. By the way, this is something you need to note. To declare a variable, though we are coming to variables, in VB.NET, we use the word dim. Dimension, we use the word dim. Dimension B as a byte. Dimension N as an integer, which is a whole number. Dimension SI as a single. Dimension D as a double. Dimension die as date. Dimension C as car. Dimension as a string. And dimension BL as Boolean. Maybe you are doing a program to add two numbers. You can say, maybe I can try to write here. You can write, to start with a capital letter, dim num1 as, in integer. Again, dim num2 as maybe double num1 good. This is what you do. This is how you declare variable. Use the word dim, then you add with the data type. These are different data types. Now below here, what we have done, whatever we have declared here, we have initialized so that you'll be able to understand what is this byte. One can be declared as a byte. Again, you can declare it as an integer. Integer is this number. Single, it's a number that has a decimal, but a bit bigger than double. Double is a number that has a decimal. Then we have date and time today. Then we have character. This one can be written like this. Then we have a string, can be written as like this. Boolean is used to evaluate, is it true or is it false? Is it true or is it false? Those are some of the data types. This manual immediately after this, actually let me load it now. I'll load it in chapter 2 and I'll call it revision notes. These notes are very simple. They are not like the others that I've shared, and there are many. Now, good. After now you have known data type, you need to know how to declare variables. Now, a variable is a location or a container for holding values. A variable is nothing but a name given to a storage area that our program can manipulate. Each variable in VB.NET has a specific type, which determines the size and layout of variables memory. The range of variable that can be stored within that memory, and the set of operations that can be applied to the variable. We have talked about data types. Now, these basic various types provided in VB.NET can be categorized as follows. We have integer type or integral types. There are so many. What you are saying, byte, short, U-short, integer, U-integer, wrong. All these are integer. And that is where I'm saying you don't have to say int A as a byte, int B as a, you just say dimensional A as integer, dimensional number as integer. All of them lie under the integral types. All these ones lie under the integral type. Then we have floating numbers that has a decimal. We have only single and double. So you need to say double X, double Y. Decimal types, we have decimal, Boolean, true or false. Then dates type, they take date. Very easy. Now, let's look here. VB.NET allows defining other variable types like enum and reference types of variables like class. Now, we'll discuss data types, date types, and classes in the following chapters. Now, how do we declare a variable in VB.NET? How do we declare a variable in VB.NET? This is what we are being told. The dim statement, what I was saying, the dim statement is used for variable declaration. For example, in C, whatever you have said, we start with int A, but we don't use the word dim. The dim statement is used for variable declaration and storage allocation for one or more variables. Now, the dim statement is used at module, class, structure, procedure, or block level inside the main. Syntax for variable declaration in VB.NET. We have attribute list, we have access modifiers, we have shared, we have shadows, then we have read-only, for example, dim with events and variable list. Let's look at something here. Let's try to explain something. Attribute list. Now, is a list of attributes that apply to the variable. Again, it's optional. Access modifiers defines the access level of the variable. It has various as public, protected, friend, protected, find. These ones, they are optional. You don't use them. So don't mind about attribute list. Don't mind about access modifiers. Don't mind. Then we have shadows. Shadows. We have shared. Again, it's optional. Shadows are optional. Statics are optional. Read-only are optional. With events are optional. Now, variable list provides a list of variables declared. Each variable in the variable list has a foreign syntax. We have variable name, then we have a list. This is what you are supposed to know. Variable list, S, then you say the data type, then you add an initialization. Let me show you here. This is what they are saying. Now, to declare a variable, don't mind about all those things. You need to know. You need the word dimension. Then you need the identifier, the name of the variable, student ID, S, a data type. For example, I can give you an example here. Dimension X S string. The value that will be stored in this variable is a string. The value that will be stored in this variable is a string. What am I saying? If we say dim student, this is the variable name. And the type that will be stored in that variable name, remember you said the variable is a memory location, is integer. If we say dimension student name, the value that will be stored is string. If we say salary, the value that will be stored is double. If we say dim count, we can separate with a comma to declare several variables to store an integer. We have count 1 and count 2. Status as Boolean, exit button. This one we shall run when we are doing the graphical user interface. Then we have the date and time. That's variable declaration. Now, to assign a value to a variable, we say variable initialization. Variable are initialized or assigned a value with an equal sign. So what you are going to do, you're going to say dim student ID as integer, then you give it a value. So what value will be stored here? The value that will be stored in the student ID is 100. The value that will be stored in student ID is 100. Then we can have dimension student name as a string. The value that will be stored in this variable is Bill Smith. Bill Smith. Now let's look at an example here. We have our module variable name, the main. We have dimension A as short. Remember, this is an integer. B as an integer. C as a double. Then we assign values. A, which was a short, is 10. B, which was an integer, is 20. C, which will hold our results, we say it's A plus B. To display the results, we say console.writeLine. A is equals 0. B is equals, we say 1, and C is equals 2. Values of A, B, and C. Then you read line, like the input. Remember, this one will output. This will be output. So when you look at this, the output, when the code is compiled, it will tell you A is equals to 10. Here, B is equals to 20, this one. C is equals to B plus A, which is 30. You output A, B, C. Good. Now, the time that we want to do some work, whatever we have studied. Now, I want to see in the public chat. I want you to list, each and every one of you to list the data types, different data types that can be used in VB.NET. integral data types, the floating point data type, the string data types, can each one type of view, because now I want us, after 1 hour, we shall now go to the quizzes. Can you write different data types so that we do some quiz? Write data types as I write your quiz here. Can you write data types? I'm setting a quiz that I'll mark right now. Write as many data types as possible. We are still together. Write that. Together. I'm preparing your quiz. You do it now. Then this quiz, I'll mark and share your marks as a group. Add the questions. I prepared the questions. So what we are going to do, just a minute, I'll tell you what we are going to do. A very good question to test whether you have understood what we have covered as we continue. Now what we have done, I have posted your quiz. So what I want you to do, very good, I can see you have written different words. Now, what I want you to do, Joseph, is it okay? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Sydney, can you hear me talk? Owino,
Yes.
can you hear? Owino, can you hear me talk? What I want us to do, I want you to go back to your portal. How do you, by the way, do you know how to access the assignments and cards and quizzes? Do you know how to do that? Can you talk?
Yes.
Now, good. In lesson two, now that is topic two, lesson two. Down below there, I have attached a quiz, a very good quiz out of 5 marks, what we have covered. I want that quiz done maybe in the next 30 minutes. Then by 4, I'll have marked the quiz. By 4, I'll mark the quiz. Then we'll meet again in the big blue button. And share your results and what I've seen, I've observed. Then from 4 to 5, we shall have a discussion forum where I'll post a question in the discussion forum. Then we discuss. Kindly don't disappear. What you need to do, go back to the portal, lesson 2, topic 2, lesson 2. Below there is a quiz that I have attached there. Attempt the questions. I will mark, then we continue. Otherwise, in the meantime, you can drink some water. You're only taking a short break. Are we together?
Yes.
Yes. Let's do that.